Hello again, everybody. As previously advertised, here we are back at Gordon Howe Park and getting ready for the first pitch of this championship game for the Canadian Senior Men's Softball Championship of 1980. And with me is Bob Rempel. Bob, we have a situation here. We have the Prairies meeting down east. Nova Scotia against Saskatchewan. A home team crowd for Saskatchewan behind them. But at the same time, in the previous game, along the route to their final championship appearance here, they had to play a 20-inning game just a few minutes ago. That could tell something.
Well, we're going to have a well-rested Nova Scotia team, Tom, as you say, and Saskatchewan's tired, but I think that added some momentum to them playing before the home crowd and winning this game now. We're going to see Don Bates pitching for Saskatchewan. I think the hitter to look for is Jerry Cooey, their designated hitter. For Nova Scotia, a national team member, Mike Henderson, playing second base, and their pitcher, Robert Putnam, also an offensive threat. I think we're going to have a great contest, and we've got two great teams here.
Okay, Bob, and now let's get to the action. Robert Putnam as we move now to the top of the second in this 1-1 ball game. A little change-up that dropped in on him. Might have a tendency to put another 10, 15 feet on the ball. Ball four as Robert Putnam wears him down. And so he gets a free pass down to first base. And so Putnam sort of makes good for the fact that he put Cooey on with the base on balls as Saskatchewan led off their share of the first inning.
It works to push it by him that way.
A little bit of a hole between short and third if he could push it by there. All right, drops it right down in front. There'll be no play at second base as they go over to Brose, who is covering at first. So that'll be 5-4. And Peterson does the job that he was sent up there to do as he sacrifices.
Sometime that maneuver allows him to steal third.
The Brookfield Elks representing Nova Scotia and the All-O-Matics of Saskatoon representing Saskatchewan in this national final. Straight away, this should score a run as Putnam comes in easily from second base. And Worsley goes all the way to second base as the ball was bobbled out in center field by Shane Weir. And that shook up Worsley, it would appear, as he was diving into second base. It looks as if he just can afford to waste a couple here. But he doesn't. Good catch by the shortstop, Greg Flash, as he went up for looking to double Worsley off second base, but Worsley put on the brakes in time and got back there safely.
That was a nicely timed jump by Flash. Bates is being hit hard here, and he's not their ace, Gene McWillie is, but Gene just finished 20 innings of good, solid pitching, and he needs getting a well-deserved rest.
I don't know whether Flash did that on purpose, but he certainly disguised the fact that he could catch that ball. It looks as if it was a sure single into left center field. This is a sure single into center field, and that's going to bring Worsley all the way in from second base as Nova Scotia lead in the ball game now by a score of 3-1. As Henderson, after getting a base on balls in the first inning, comes right back here with a single up through the middle and a run batted in. A lot of offensive action early in this ball game. As we said before, we have been watching a lot of defensive struggles, pitching duels throughout the week.
Well, Henderson's the kind of player that...
1.5 innings now, Nova Scotia leading Saskatchewan 3-1. Look like Saskatchewan is going to have to play catch-up ball for the remainder. Flash digs in. Here comes the pitch from Putnam. He pulls this one down the right field line. That gets by Howie and goes all the way to the corner. The throw comes back into second base, but by then, of course, Flash had gone all the way around to getting ready. Man on third for this All-O-Matics team, and nobody out. Inside, he swings and misses. All they want is a good fly ball right now. That would certainly score Flash without any trouble. Inside again, he chases two bad pitches in a row and falls behind. 0-2 the count on Shane Weir. He's an all-star, mostly because of his batting prowess. He is hitting at a .312 clip. Crouches well over the plate. Another inside pitch as he jumps on that, gets it on the handle and pulls it foul.
We can see by his batting stance why they're jamming him, Tom. That's the most vulnerable area when you jam the plate like that.
He really guards it well. Inside, oh, he threw a curveball at him. A little bit high, and Shane Weir goes down swinging. So one away. Inside, back to home. And the runner from third, Flash, is out on that play as there's the expected collision between he and the catcher, Bob Campbell. But Campbell held on to the ball, and that will move Bates down to first base on the field. Certainly no argument. He caught a hold of this one, but that's going out to center field where Steve Locke is waiting for it in right center field and catches it. And so Saskatchewan, Greg Flash led off the second inning with a triple to right and then was forced out at home when they cut him off there. So there were no runs on one hit, no errors. You hear that aluminum bat as it bounces down to second base and blows over to Zacharias at first, and 3 up and 3 down for Nova Scotia in the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And so the score after 5.5 innings, Nova Scotia 4, Saskatchewan 2. And get his All-O-Matics all fired up when he tripled to right field to lead off the second inning. But then he was cut down at home plate. And comes up with a second good hit into deep right center field. That's going to go. It's a home run. One of the few home runs we have seen in this tournament as Greg Flash of the All-O-Matics of Saskatoon brings Saskatchewan right back into this ball game here, leading off in the bottom of the 6th. A towering blast into right center field beyond the outstretched arm of Dennis Peterson. And so Greg Flash, who tripled to right in the second, leads off here in the 6th with a strong home run. He is the man who is coming in, as you say, Bob. He will be taking the batting order, if that's what you call the lineup order, in place of Danny Dean. Danny Dean, who was playing defensively in left field, has been taken out of the game. The first baseman, Mike Worsley, is now in left field, and the pitcher, Robert Putnam, is now playing first base to bring you up to date. And a pinch hitter is in the person of Wayne Wallace for Shane Weir. No balls and 1 strike to count on him. Healy delivers a high ball. This is popped up. Boy, that'll have frost on it when it comes down. And it comes down directly into the hands of Doug Holland at shortstop. So there's 1 away here and 1 run in thus far in the bottom. Mike Henderson leading off for Nova Scotia chops this one foul as his Brookfield Elks team leading Saskatchewan 4-3, and this is the last chance. The last chance for Saskatchewan in their half of this inning. They trail by 1. Henderson and Cook and McCallum in that order would like to fatten that lead a little bit. 1 run is not enough against this persistent Saskatoon team. 1 ball and 1 strike. The count on the leadoff hitter, Mike Henderson. He has had a base on ball, single in the middle, and a pop up to short. 1 and 3 on the day's play. Robbie Cook will follow the third baseman. Henderson's the second baseman. Foul down over our third base cameraman, who has survived this onslaught. A lot of balls going down that way. I suppose I shouldn't have mentioned anything about him. He's sitting right on top of the Saskatchewan dugout. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. So Henderson goes down swinging here in the top of the 7th.
That was Weeb's 5th strikeout, Tom, since he came in to relieve Bates in the 5th inning.
It was right after Cook, the batter, had single to left, as incidentally when Weeb did come into the ball game. He promptly gave up a ground rule double that bounced over the fence in right field to Lively, and then really settled down and has he's certainly done the job on this Nova Scotia team since then. And he held them from scoring any further runs in that important 5th inning. Scoring to left field. Pavlov pulls it in for Saskatchewan, so there are 2. That's the story here at Gordon Howe Park. Larry Pavloff will be leading off for Saskatchewan in their last kick of the cat unless they score at least one run here. They trail in the ball game 4-3. The left fielder Pavlov stepping in. He has had one single to left, popped up and got out on a fielder's choice, so he's 1 for 3 in the ball game. And he pops up here. That's going into deep left or center field. It's going to Steve Locke in center field, and they're one away. And this Novus Les Howie steps in. He struck out, flied out to center, grounded back to the pitcher. And he pops this one, but it'll be out of play, back into the crowd, way back behind first base. 0-1, the count on Les Howie, and you can be sure that these Nova Scotians taste victory right now. They jumped into a 1-0 lead. Saskatchewan came back to tie that. They went ahead 3-1, 4-1, and then Saskatchewan scoring single runs in the 5th and the 6th to draw within 1 run, and that's the situation we face right now. As relief hurler Steve Healy just misses on the outside corner, and the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Les Howie, a .260 hitter. Just missing on the outside corner again, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Nova Scotia got here with wins over Yukon, Manitoba, and Prince Edward Island in the first round. They lost to Ontario for a 3-1 record. Now they beat Manitoba and BC to get into the final game.
On deck is Pat Spazaka. The business at hand is Les Howie for Healy, and here comes the pitch. On the outside corner again. Howie went after it, fouled it back. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Saskatchewan having to score at least 1 run here to keep this ball game alive. Of course, 2 would give them the 1980 championship. Saskatchewan not having a championship since 1972.
And before that, I think it was 1969 with the Saskatoon Merchants.
And Nova Scotia never having a championship. But they've been smelling close to the roses the last few years, and they've never been closer than they are right now. Les Howie stepping out momentarily as the catcher, Bob Campbell, makes some adjustments. Now we're ready to go on a 2-2 count. The wind now blowing out toward right field, which could help Howie, but he chops this one down to second base. Quickly over to first, and Robert Putnam is there after missing the ball initially, and Mike Henderson was there. He is a first baseman, part-time, plays a little bit outfield. But Mike Worsley was over there, moved out to left field, and Putnam took over first base when Healy came into the ball game. Now Spazaka lanes into the first pitch, but was late on it and fouled it into the crowd behind the Nova Scotia dugout. He's had 2 hits and 3 times at the plate, a single over second base, a single to right, and grounded out on a sacrifice attempt, first baseman to the second baseman. He chops this one into right, but that's going to curve foul by 10 feet as it bounces over the fence. So the count on Spazaka, no balls and 2 strikes. So Healy and the Brookfield Elks of Nova Scotia now are just 1 pitch away from the 1980 Senior Men's Softball Championship. The national championship here at Gordon Howe Park in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Spazaka stepping in. Healy away ahead of him. No balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch. High. Spazaka still alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yogi Berra, who said it's never over till it's over. You never know what's going to happen in this game of ball. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Chop foul at the plate, and so Spazaka stays alive. Penrod, who can be very dangerous at the plate, is on deck if Spazaka should get on base. He would represent, of course, the winning run. But the job now is up to Spazaka. 1-2 count outside, and now it's 2-2. So Healy moves from an 0-2 situation to 2-2. He got Pavlov to lead off this bottom of the 7th with a shallow fly ball to center field, and then Howie grounded out second to first. Again, Spazaka gets a piece of it and stays alive. 5 here. And Spazaka representing the tying run to force this game into extra innings. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitching for Nova Scotia in relief, Steve Healy. And here comes the pitch. Strike 3, struck him out. And Nova Scotia, the Brookfield Elks, have won the 1980 Canadian Senior Men's Softball Championship. And they have a right to be a happy lot, Bob.
Well, they've just played Super Bowl all week. You can see how happy they are right now. And it's been a real team effort. We singled out a few players like Henderson and Putnam, but Healy came in here, for example, did a great job for them. So, as I said, it's a team effort for them. Great champions.
And great as finishing as bridesmaids, you would have to say, the All-O-Matics of Saskatoon as well. They were behind and having been forced to play catch-up ball here all through this game. And by golly, they almost pulled it out, especially when Greg Flash led off in the 6th with a home run over the right center field wall. And so that brought them to within 4-3, but it was 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the 7th as they couldn't get by Healy. And so the final score, the Brookfield Elks representing Nova Scotia winning the 1980 championship from the All-O-Matics of Saskatoon.